right, so here we are, week 31. This was week 30, which, like I said, was planned live, but the video quality was terrible, so you can't see that video. But now we are on week 31. Hopefully, our streaming is set up correctly and blah, 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 blahs. And yeah, we will set up for the last week of July. Um, August's color is a little boring. It's white. I don't know why I put white in the list of colors, but it's there, and so that's the color we're going with for August. I'm gonna try to make it work. But that's it. This is our last week of Mint. We're gonna start. What are we gonna do today? Also, we're going to plan week 31. Then we are going to do our affirmations. Then I'm gonna show you my moon mapping journal that I tried to set up last week on the live. And then we are going to work on an entry for my reading journal. And I just realized that I left my reading journal downstairs, so there will be a momentary interruption while I go get that. So I already know I'm going to have to be cutting out dead air from this live. But anyway, let's just get into planning week 31 because we're already late. And as usual, I start with the cooking dinner related tasks. Oops. Looking for this. All right, so there are a few cooking related tasks that I need to write down. So first off is bake cupcakes because I didn't bake them this weekend. I did a lot of cleaning, but I didn't do the baking. So bake cupcakes, and then on Tuesday, make Swiss meringue buttercream. there's an event here. My nails are slightly wet, so it's going to be interesting. I usually paint them Saturday night, but like I said, I was cleaning, so things were delayed, blah, blah, blah. Didn't get to paint my nails till this morning. And yeah, they're still kind of wet. Still kind of wet. Okay, so cupcakes, Swiss meringue buttercream, and then there's bread baking later in the week. So I'm going to separate the bread. No, not separate the bread. Separate the ingredients. Well, separate bread ingredients. Here we go. Okay. Now we're just going to drop our bullet. And what's next? An appointment. Are there any other appointments? No. Okay. So we'll just add our little triangle. My nose, been having allergies. Right. Okay, so let's just put the bullet on the appointments. Showing that's the only appointment. I have to rip this thing out of here. What are we looking for? And family meeting. 11. Is it 11 or was it 12? 11 to 12. I didn't load the vitamins today because I was painting my nails. Okay, so loaded vitamins, time blocked dinner. What we haven't done. Okay, so pull these out. All right. Since we already know the live hours, we can put that in. If you're new here, we're here live every Sunday, or practically every Sunday, from 3:30 to 5, planning, affirming, and engaging in other spiritual empowerment adjacent activities. After today's plan hour, usually it takes me an hour to plan for the week, we will get into my reading journal, and we will be doing the very first entry. Okay. There are the time-based blocks, I guess. Time-dependent work blocks. And actually, we should mark when the books are open. 28, 29, 31. 28, 29, 31. And the question is, do I have August here? No, I do not. I have a feeling that the first and the second, the books are open, but let us see. August, yes, first and second books are open. Okay. And since we're already discussing the books being open, we can just... Ooh. My nails touched each other, and like I said, they're still wet. So that felt weird. Okay. So books are open here. All right, there we go. So we have put in when the books are open. And so those are the available times. We're just going to jump right into the evening routine. Okay. I'm having some pineapple. Okay, and then we're going to write weekly review. Monthly review. PM reflection. All right. My hair. What's next? We've done the evening routine. Now, homeschool admin time. Definitely has to be Saturday night. Definitely. If there's no booking on Thursday, that will also be Thursday. If there is no booking, should it be Thursday, Friday, Saturday? I'm going to do that. We're going to make that Thursday. Oh. Oh, it's hard to choose. No, we'll do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What do we have next? We have to figure out what's happening in this evening, Sunday evening. Sunday evening. We have finished our side quest that the accountant gave us. And so now we're back to our regularly scheduled bookkeeping. And so I have to put like 90 minutes into it, see how far I get in terms of that. And so that will be Sunday night. Okay. And this time after the live, I would like to do some batch work of some kind. But I'm not exactly sure what, because there's a lot. The task list is huge when it comes to like my website and my business and my offerings and what I'm trying to, what goals I have. The task list is huge. And so we're going to try, since we're already in, record mode and the nails are already nice on a Sunday, we got to try and do a little batch stuff on Sunday. So, all right, looks like that's the evening routine. On these 2 days, we need to read for book club. Okay. All right, bookkeeping here. All right. There we have it. Evening routine is time blocked. Now we're going to continue with homeschool admin, because every day from 4:30 to 5 I am supposed to be updating the homeschool register. All right. We have done that. Now it's time to time block homeschool instruction time. As usual, Mondays I like to start at 10 because there's like Monday cleaning tasks that I like to get done. All right, Wednesday is a little crazy. Wednesday we might not I won't know until Tuesday, though, because Wednesday is the last day of my child's therapy. And so he will no longer be going to his therapy center. And so we're going to have like a little, goodbye thing happening. And depending on what time I go to do that, we're probably not gonna get school done. So what should I do? How should I mark that? Well, we can just have this 9:30 to 12. We're just gonna put that. And if it exceeds that, it exceeds that. And if we can make that, we can make that. All right. Homeschool instruction time has been time blocked. There we go. Okay, next up is cleaning. Got our 9:30. And then we have our 11 to 1 on Saturday. All right. Then we got to write down the other cleaning tasks. What time is that? 9:30. All right. So there we are. And guess what? I didn't do everything. I did some vacuuming, but I never made it to the foyer, which was what I was supposed to vacuum. But at least I did that. I did a few things, just didn't do the things that I wrote down. I had to write down new things, and that's what I did right there, because I still want to give myself credit for it, even though it wasn't on my list. What's next? That's what it was. 9:30. And that is light purple. Okay, and this is also light purple. Okay, so just write that. We got to twist the book over to write it neatly. Oops, you didn't even see that. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I have to put that there. Okay. Continuing on. The other morning routine tasks. AM reflection. This AM reflection is really important. That's what I've realized. Because I did the AM reflection on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And they were some of my most productive days, even though I wasn't physically feeling very well on Thursday and Friday. So I have to remember to do it. Okay. And now we are going to add our dots. We got these health related. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I've been putting that in the wrong spot for Wednesday. There we go. Not that, I mean, the yellow just fades so quickly. You could barely tell that I even did anything. All right. Okay, direct morning routine is this color. Thursday. AM reflection is this color. Then there's vitamins. All right. Wow. This is like the fastest ever. Is it because I don't have anybody to talk to? All right. So I already put in my labels for my to-do list because I had to start writing to-dos. But now we're going to go into the groceries list. Oops. You can barely see that. All right, groceries. We'll put our dots there. I already know there's stuff I need to add. Hydrogen peroxide. Dental floss. Ooh, I can't write over the gel pen. Still too wet. Dental floss. Cigar. Sugar in the raw. White sugar. I can't think of anything else. So that's it for the groceries. Next, I just need to do my little flags. So we shall do them. Bookkeeping, which you can barely see. There we go. And thinking this. Okay. All right, now the general to-do. I'm just going to use this Tombow here that I don't even know if it's the right color, but I was like, this looks minty. We haven't used it. Let's try it out. And so here it is. Actually, let's use the bullet side first. All right. Might as well color this. And let us write to do. I'm going to use this. To do. Okay. Then we're going to put our washi tape right in there. Part of me is wondering about this. It's a little too different. Have I already done the leaves? I did this. Is this closer? It's closer. But we haven't done this one. So we're just going to use it up. Use it up. There we go. Simple leaf to say goodbye to July. And bam. This is like one of the fastest weekly plan with me. Oops. Shake everything too. This is one of the fastest weekly plan with me time blockings. All right. That's that. I'm not going to keep going over this. Let's just jump right into the affirmations. I need to cover some stuff before I turn to that page. And here we are for the affirmations. Okay. The majority of these affirmations come from The Secret Language of the Body by Inna Segal. However, some come from Louise Hay, some are made up by me, some are made up by my cousin. So it's whatever I come across during the month that I'm like, ooh, let's add that to the affirmation list. And so we begin with, I create the conditions for my happiness all of the time. I accept and claim my unique beauty and wild soul. I have resolved the issues from my past and move forward with clarity into the future. I have the confidence to ask for what I want and to become more creative and spontaneous in my life. I love myself enough to take excellent care of my body, and it responds by giving me radiant good health. Okay, and so today is the 27th, and the color for the 27th is orange. And so let us put our dot next to it. And there we go. Affirmations done. And let's mark off the affirmations spot. All right. We have said our affirmations. And now, now I'm going to have to use the computer. But before I do, if you're new here, I'm Ingrid from thinkingthis.com. I am a writer, tarot reader, Akashic record guide, medium, and spiritual empowerment professional. I've discovered that decorative planning keeps me productive and motivated as I parent, homeschool, maintain my spiritual practice, and create content. On Sundays, I go live, I time block, and decorate my weekly pages, and we will say some affirmations together. Right now, we are about to jump into my reading journal. We will be updating it with our very first entry. Unfortunately, I forgot that book downstairs. So I'm going to leave you with a teaser here. The teaser is this book. This is the book that we will be making the entry about. Yeah, this is the book we'll be making our entry about. We are going to be using the CAWPILE rating system. And basically, this was invented by somebody on YouTube. I can't remember her name. I'm going to have to write whatchamacallit. I'm gonna have to write a wow, I'm losing my train of thought so bad. I'm gonna have to man, I'm gonna have to open Safari. Hold on. I forgot what I was saying, but I'm going to have to run downstairs and get my reading journal. But we'll be using the CAWPILE rating system. Generally, it seems to be most popular with fiction, but she does have a nonfiction version, and so that's what we're going to do. Okay. And so, reading stats. Oh, this is hard to view. We're going to have to, this is funny. She made an Excel file. I mean, not Excel, a Google Docs file. So that you can basically use this rating system on the go. However, because I have so much going on my screen, we're going to be staring at this for a while. So instead, we're going to have to backfill the Google Doc. I printed this out so that I can do CAWPILE without having to use my phone, because the phone thing is so distracting that if I can avoid having to use my phone to do it, I do. But anyway, I printed out the sheet so that I can do this on the go. And so she has CAWPILE for fiction, and she has it for nonfiction. And this book is a nonfiction book, so this is the side that we will be using. I will be right back with my reading journal and then we can get right into filling this entry out. Okay, so here we are. We are going to make our first entry in our reading journal. We will be reviewing Spiritual Cleansing by Draja Mekaharik. We will be using the CAWPILE rating system. When I first decided to do a reading journal, I assumed the notes that I took on the specific books I was reading would actually go in here. But then I discovered the Zettlekasten, and I thought I prefer the notes to be on bib cards, on those index cards that they talk about, if you know about Zettelkasten. And so now it's more like this is just going to be like a summary of, you know, my thoughts of it, but not so much all the notes that I took from it. Because guess what? This book has a lot of flags. There were a lot of bib notes to take. This tiny little book had a lot of info. Oh, and yeah, so the full title is Spiritual Cleansing, a Handbook of Psychic Protection, Practical Ways to Rid Your Home, Office, and Self of Negative Energy. And so this is the book we're reviewing. The book began June 11th, 2024. Like, that's when I began to read it. And I began reading it for a book club that my cousin and I host each Wednesday. We get together each Wednesday and we discuss our book. I've mentioned before, we're currently discussing Women Who Run with the Wolves. Before Women Who Run with the Wolves, there was Spiritual Cleansing. So let's just get into it. I'm going to pull out this CAWPILE thingy. And let's see. So, questions for the C. Credibility/research. Does the book feel trustworthy? Is the source material based on the individual experience or research? And in the case of the latter, does it report the findings in an unbiased manner, or does it feel like it's selectively choosing points to push a certain agenda? Is the material referenced and made easy to find? Is analysis inclusive when it comes to different demographics? Now that's a mouthful there. My thoughts on that. Am I rating that? Yes. Okay. So we're rating credibility and research according to this scale. 0 to 3, really bad. 4 to 6, mediocre. 7 to 9, really good. And 10 is outstanding. So I'm going to take a look at credibility research and give it a rating on that. And so, what are my thoughts on the credibility research? It's been too long. I'm going to have to think on that. But we can at least write credibility research. So I can make my single point on that. What pen do I want to use? Okay, we're going to use this one. Okay. All right, so, you know, I would have wanted to do this with different markers, but we're going to be here all day if I start overthinking it. But what are we doing if we're not being creative? Oops. I'm gonna just use this blue. I don't know. No, not this blue. Different blue. What blue can we use? Oh man, I am out of it today. This is going to take longer than I thought. Oh, okay. We'll use this. We'll use this Sharpie pen in navy. Okay, so credibility research. Credibility research. Okay. Does the book feel trustworthy? It does. Is the source material based on the individual experience or research? And in the case of the latter, does it report the findings in an unbiased matter, or does it feel like it's selectively choosing points to push a certain agenda? So, okay, I'm going to start with the book does feel trustworthy. The source material is based on the author's experience and holy crap, I can't spell anecdotal. Anecdotal. The author's experience and anecdotal research. Anecdotal research from the Espiritismo community, in my opinion. And anecdotal research. In the case of the latter, does he... Well, it's anecdotal research. It doesn't feel like he's selectively choosing points. Is the material referenced and made easy to find? That, not so much. It's almost like if you know the word of mouth about the things he's talking about, then you realize that he's getting his information from the community because it's what people in the community are familiar with. However, there were certain points in the book where we were like, ooh, that's a mistake. And he doesn't do a good job explaining why he's deviating from the common knowledge when he does deviate from it. And sometimes he'll mention something that is common knowledge and he'll just throw it in there without further explaining why it's important and how it became common knowledge. So there is some of that. So is the material referenced and made easy to find? Not so much. Actually, let's look at the back of the book here and see what are his references. The biblical references are here. So there's that. But there's just an index. All right, so the references are not easy to find. The material is not referenced and easy to find. This does align with a lot of the word of mouth. Oops, spelt mouth wrong. Information in the espiritismo belief system. Okay. Is analyses inclusive when it comes to different demographics? Not really. I would say you will understand this most if you had a Christian Roman Catholic upbringing. He does mention other cultures in there, but I already showed you. The only thing he's referencing as a reference is the Bible. So is the analysis inclusive? The analysis doesn't overtly exclude, but a strong familiarity with Christianity and Catholicism. Christianity and Catholicism is assumed. Okay. Valid. All right. And so based on those thoughts, what is my rating? My rating for credibility research, I'm going to give it a 5. It falls in mediocre only because he's only, saying, hey, this is the Bible verse. Everything else is purely anecdotal, and the only way to know if he's onto something is if you're already a part of the community. So, gonna give it a 5. So for credibility research, let's write 5. Okay. Next, authenticity, uniqueness. So that is the next rating. Authenticity, uniqueness. Okay. Authenticity, uniqueness. Does it bring something new to the table or topic? How is it different from other books on the topic? Does it bring something new to the table? Well, there was new information, so I'm going to say the book was very detailed with certain procedures. God, I'm writing terrible. Okay, very detailed with certain procedures, which I hadn't seen thoroughly explained before. However, this is not new news for experienced practitioners. What makes it unique then is the accessibility it gives to lay people, right? Written for the layperson in mind. Written for the lay person in mind. Okay. And what is my rating on authenticity? Uniqueness. Let's see. Uniqueness. I'm gonna give it a 7. Really good. Okay, next up we have the writing. Was the writing overly complicated or accessible? Did you enjoy the way the author chose to present the topic? Was the writing too dry? No, I think it was accessible. The writing was accessible. the writing was accessible. Is there anything beyond that? Did I enjoy the way the author chose to present the topic? There were times when I was like, this is a man from 1982. I mean, this book was published in 1982. So the writing was accessible, although at times dated. Although dated at times. So one thing is, like, this was written pre-internet. He's talking about using the yellow pages to find things. Like, it's dated. Like, would have been nice if it would have been updated with some websites or something. I don't know. So the writing was accessible, although dated at times. Personal impact. Are you taking anything away from it? Was it useful, insightful? Has it enriched your understanding on the topic? And do you think it will make a lasting impact? Personal impact. Okay, wait. I didn't give a rating for the writing. So the writing, I'm also going to give it a 7 on writing. And personal impact, are you taking anything away from it? Absolutely. The book was extremely, oh my God, look how terrible that is, but I'm leaving it. Extremely informative. I need to put something under here. Extremely informative, comma. I learned a lot about incense and smoke cleansing. I'm excited to try various things mentioned in the book. I'm excited to try various things mentioned in the book. Okay, and so for personal impact, I'm gonna give it an 8. Another thing I want to mention in one of these, which should it be? Maybe personal impact because of the Zettlekasten. But I want to write down how many bib cards I wrote for this book. So I'm going to do that here under personal impact. I'm going to put bib cards. And then I'm going to put main cards. How many main cards and how many bib cards did we get from this book? So I've got my Zettlekasten here. Say hi to Zora, everybody. Zora is very full of bib cards and not a lot of main cards. So let's take a look. Here. Spiritual cleansing. Oh my God, there's so many. Spiritual cleansing had, look at all these bib notes. Spiritual cleansing had 46 bib cards. 46 of these notes. So, okay. Bib cards. 46. Okay, so we put that there. Now I gotta put these back. There we go. 46 bib cards. And how many main cards? Good question. Did I file any? I don't think I did. I have not. Oh. There's actually some of these main cards are just quotes. So okay, here's one. One. Oh boy. Okay, we've only got one. And that one doesn't even count that much because it was before I was trying to keep all the quotes in the bib notes. So let's see. Here are the main cards that have not been filed. So we got 1, 2, 3. So we've got like 4. We've got 4 main cards out of that book. And perhaps one day there may be more, but for now, we've got 4 main cards. Okay. Next, we have intrigue, logic, informativeness, and enjoyment. Okay, so we've got intrigue. Intrigue. Were you reaching for this book throughout, and did it keep your attention? Yes. The book did keep my attention. There was not a lot of fluff. He sometimes gave you stuff to think about where it was like, oh, I wish you would have been explicit with that, but still caused intrigue because it had you thinking. So some things caused intrigue because he didn't, oops, didn't wrong. Because he didn't what? Some of these things caused intrigue because he didn't explain them explicitly. There were some things that he left open to interpretation, and that kind of made you really think about what he was trying to say. So that's what I mean by it did cause intrigue, the times that he didn't explain something explicitly. Okay, logic, informativeness. Okay. Oh, wait, intrigue. What rating did I give for intrigue? Intrigue is also a 7. And then logic, informativeness. Did things make sense? Is the source material, be that experience or data, presented in a way that is informative? Is there a lot of knowledge to be gained, or is the majority of the book filler? No, I would say yes, things did make sense. And the source material was presented in a way that is informative. So the material made sense and was presented in a way that is informative. Okay. Oops, I put a question mark, and that was hello. In a way that is informative. Period. And is there a lot of knowledge to be gained? I would say there is. There is a lot of knowledge to be gained. For logic informativeness, I'm going to give it an 8. And enjoyment. For enjoyment. Did you enjoy the book overall? Yes, I did. I did enjoy the book. I did enjoy the book. I feel like it is an excellent addition to my spiritual library. What next? It's 5:16. Almost time to be over with this live. But what is my rating for enjoyment? I'm going to give the book an 8 on enjoyment as well. Okay, and now somehow math has to happen here. So how does the math happen? Okay, so we got the title, we got the month. What is the CAWPILE cheat sheet? Oh, that's what I printed out. This is the CAWPILE cheat sheet. Okay, reading stats. Oops. All right, so no, back to CAWPILE. So we've got the title, we've got the month, we got the author, we got the publisher, genre, age. Okay. All right. We can type in all this other stuff. But my arms are going to be in the screen. So, I don't know. I think we're going to do that. We're going to do that off camera. We're just going to do the CAWPILE. Oops. Shake everything. We're just going to do the CAWPILE rating portion. Okay, so characters. Okay, just changed it to nonfiction. And what we chose for that was... Oh, God, shake everything. 5. Then for authenticity, uniqueness, we chose 7. Writing, we chose 7. Nonfiction, personal impact, we chose 8. Ooh, uh-oh. How do you undo that? Oops, okay. 8. Intrigue is the same, 7. Logic. Logic, informativeness, 8. Enjoyment, 8. Okay, and so the CAWPILE rating is 4 stars. Wow, there's a lot of stats here. Okay, we just can't get crazy right now. All right. I feel like there needs to be a fiction and a nonfiction one. So what, do I save it as something else? File. Save as? Is there a save as? Make a copy, I guess. We're gonna make a fiction one. fiction. All right, make a copy. And then we can... Okay. All right. So, like we said, 4 stars. And so that goes right here. And what color should we use to fill in the stars? Should we choose navy? No, let's choose the light blue to go with the cover of the book. And so we got 4-star rating. Kind of messy. There we go. 4 stars. Bam, bam, bam. Love it. So it started June 11th and it ended, I can't remember. I'm going to have to go into my planner from last year and take a look at when that was. So we won't be able to do that. The title is supposed to go in here, but the title kind of doesn't fit. I don't know, maybe I should just write it. We'll just write it in here. The first part. Spiritual cleansing. Spiritual cleansing. And then here we write a handbook of psychic protection and then practical ways to rid your home office and self of negative energy. And then the author by Draja Mikaharik. There we go. there is our entry and our little book review for Spiritual Cleansing by Draja Mikaharik. It would be cool if I could put a picture here, but I don't have time for all that. So that may end up blank unless I think of something else. Maybe when I'm filling in the Google Doc, because there's a lot of stats that like, is the author an author of color, is the author LGBTQIA plus, like, so if I find that when I'm filling in the Google Doc, that there's something interesting there, then I might add it here to the end. If not, maybe it'll be some decor or something down the line. But that's it. Today we are done with our entry. Oh, no, wait. We are technically not done because we need page numbers. Did I put page numbers in here? No, I have to get them. So then that means I can't index my thing because I have to add page numbers first. But maybe next time, maybe I'll show you the final thing at another point in time. But this is it. My book review using the CAWPILE rating system. And so that's it for today's live. If you enjoyed our time together, please be sure to like and subscribe so that you will be notified the next time I upload content or the next time I go live. We will be here next Sunday, 3:30. I don't know what we're doing besides planning and affirming, but maybe there'll be more notebook stuff. Maybe not. That's what I forgot to do. Let's just show this. This is what was recorded last week, but we had to delete it because the quality was terrible. But here it is. The moon mapping notebook set up for the new moon in Leo lunar cycle. I went with mint because that's what markers were handy last week. And so there we are. The next phase to pay attention to is tomorrow, when the moon will be waxing crescent in Virgo. So that's going to be interesting. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a great week 31. Only love prevails. Peace.